Hello, Victory Village, and welcome to another episode of 20 Yvette Speaks. I am your host, 20 Yvette, and for the next few minutes, we are going to be talking about one of the top stories in the news. So stay tuned. Danny Glover, Angela Davis, and others stand in solidarity with Jussie Smollett in an open letter called "We Believe Jussie, Not the CPD." Jussie Smollett's activist friends have come together to sign an open letter calling for justice amid his battle with the city of Chicago. We believe this case is being used to distract us from the countless acts of racial injustice perpetrated by police against Black people and the LGBTQ people, and particularly in the wake of the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, and many others. The letters read. You can read the letter signed by Danny Glover, Angela Davis, Angela Robertson, and others in its entirety by clicking on the links in my description box below. We, the undersigned, appeal to you to join us as we stand in solidarity with the artist and activist Jussie Smollett. As we focused on keeping our loved ones and those most socially vulnerably safe and healthy during these times of COVID-19 and of white nationalism in the White House, we remain painfully aware of the police crimes that continue to plague our communities, having claimed precious lives in the last months. At a time when people of Chicago are demanding community control of the police, and when our movement for Black Lives demands that police be defunded and dematerialized, Chicago police and prosecutors continue to expand precious public resources to cover up a hate crime and renew their fabricated case against Jussie Smollett. Jussie faces false charges of felony, disorderly conduct, and is still being forced to fight back against a relentless and vicious smear campaign initiated by the Chicago Police Department and uncritically by the media. We believe Jussie, not the CPD. An actor who broke new ground as a leading Black gay character in the award-winning TV show Empire, Jussie has always been active in social justice movements, especially against police terror, environmental injustices, and more. Over the years, he has offered generous support to HIV and AIDS organizations and to historically Black colleges and universities. During the 2018 elections, Jussie personally campaigned and used his social media platforms to urge support for anti-Trump candidates. As a result, with a barrage of attacks, including overtly racist threats, among other threats. In January 2019, Jussie received a death threat with the return address MAGA and an image of a noosed figure hanging from a tree. Just 1 week later, on January 29th, Jussie was physically assaulted by two masked men who noosed him, shouted homophobic slurs, and yelled, "This is MAGA country." And you can guess the rest. The CPD investigated but refused to make public any of their findings that corroborated Jussie's account of the attack. For example, a security guard at a hotel nearby Jussie's apartment saw two masked men running by one, a white male in his 20s. A neighbor saw a white man with a rope hanging from his pocket waiting outside Jussie's apartment. Outrageously, police concealed these eyewitnesses, their statements, and said that they are in police reports. In addition, CPD claims that a motion-activated video camera turned off just as the attack on Smollett began. They then concocted a media narrative to spread deception. Even some of us who are aware of the history of racism and linked to the Chicago Police Department failed to question this narrative. We ask why so many were so quick to believe the CPD. The department is legendary for its history of racial terror and cover-up from the assassination of Fred Hampton in 1969 to the murder of Laquan McDonald in 2014 and the torture of over 100 black men over their last decades, leading to the passage of the 2015 Reparations for Burge Torture Victims Ordinance by the City Council. Many allegations have been made against the very officers who investigated Jussie's case, charging cover-up, hate speech, false arrest, executive force, and torture. What's more, former CPD Superintendent Eddie Johnson, who led the Smollett investigation and made several national media appearances, was later fired for lying and other unethical acts. In face of felony charges that he staged the attack, Jussie has never wavered in his description of what occurred. The main evidence preferred by CPD in support of the charges is the coerced statement of brothers Abel and Ola. Abel had been employed by Jussie as his personal trainer. Ola, known to Chicago police throughout an unrelated case, had previously faced charges of attempted murder but pled to a lesser charge. When investigating Jussie's case, CPD searched the brothers' apartments and claimed to turn up a sachet of illegal arms and drugs. Police detained the brothers, giving them 48 hours, the maximum police may hold suspects without charge, to confess or implicate Jussie. Initially, they refused, but after 47 hours of detention and high-pressure interrogation, the brothers relented. Unsurprisingly, after cooperating and incriminating Jussie, they were released without charges. The CPD never had the evidence to prove that Jussie falsified his account, leading them to manufacture and unsupported claims and motives. Seeing the writing on the wall, in March 2019, the state's attorney dismissed all charges. But the hounding didn't stop. In February 2020, Special Prosecutor Dan Webb re-indicted Jussie. Webb's clients included Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, and other Trump associates. This relentless political persecution has been fodder for statements from the highest of power. Trump denounced Jussie during 11 of 16 campaign stops in 2019, equating the hate crime with impeachment, both scams. The Trump administration continued to slander Jussie with the early July 2020 false announcement that the noose found in black race car driver Bubba Wallace's garage was a hoax, just as Jussie Smollett claimed he was a victim of a hate crime, which also was a hoax. We believe this case is being used to distract us from the countless acts of racial injustice by police against black people and the LGBTQ people, and particularly in the wake of the murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, and many others. We've seen this before. We stand with Jussie and all persons targeted by hate crimes, police misconduct, and the Trump administration. Please join us. Let us vindicate Jussie Smollett and all those subjected to state violence and persecution. Signed, and I won't say their names, but it is signed by several people, which were named in the title, Danny Glover, of course, and many others. To get a copy of this, I will leave the link in my description box so you can see that letter. In other files and other articles, it reads the same. It doesn't have a lot of, other information. We know what he's done if you've ever kept up with him in the news as well as on his social media. We know about him being on Empire. Nobody's really saying if, this is crazy or we believe he's innocent. What do you guys think? Do you think that Jussie is innocent, or is he guilty of staging any of this or all of it? I don't know. I am going to remain anonymous. I'm going to remain neutral. No, I'm going to remain quiet on this because I want to hear what all of you think about this, and I will leave all of my links in the description box below so that you can see my receipts, where I got this from, how it all began, and who signed the letter. All right? Well, guys, I will leave you to it because I know you have a lot to say, and I can't wait to read all of your comments. So thank you for hanging out with me for this small while, and I will talk to you guys in another video. Bye for now.